Hi everybody and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be touring a brand new supermarket that just opened up here in Punta Cana, only 5 minutes away from Punta Cana Village and in general the airport of Punta Cana. So it's very centric and a great option for those of you looking to get something in the Punta Cana Village, Cap Cana area. Super close, and even from Bavar you can still reach it fairly easily. So I'm talking about the supermarket called Merca Jumbo, Merca Jumbo in English. It's a beautiful new supermarket, great fresh produce, very spacious, and we're gonna go in a moment and check out everything they have here. So stay tuned and let's go check it out. The Merca Jumbo supermarket is located inside Plaza Vela, a new commercial plaza just 5 minutes from Punta Cana International Airport. The plaza is still under construction, and this is the first business to open here, with multiple commercial spaces currently being developed around it. So as you guys know, we're gonna do the usual drill. I always like to show all of you everything new that we have growing in this area of Punta Cana. So every time something new is open, supermarket, especially, I know you guys like to see what all of that we have here in the Punta Cana area. So we're gonna start from the very entrance of Merca Jumbo. So as soon as you walk in, we actually have this whole area here, which essentially is the fresh produce of fruits and vegetables. So let's go check those out and see how much we can get those in Merca Jumbo. Guys, I'm gonna give you a couple of references for the fruits and vegetables. So in this section right here, you can see that there's quite a variety of fruits and vegetables. Starting with the vegetables on this side, again, just for reference purposes, a pound of potatoes would be about 41 pesos, which is $0.65, very affordable over there. Then here we would have different selection of different garlic. So garlic, for example, would be for the package of four cloves, it would be 89 pesos, which translates to about 1.4 US dollars. And of course, we have a lot of different options here. We have onion, we have bananas. Bananas are one of my favorite things in the Dominican Republic because they're so affordable. And where I come from in Europe, bananas are something we would pay a premium for, of course, because everything is imported. But here, per pound, we're looking at 0.3, so 30 cents per pound for bananas here, which is spectacular. And coming over to this side, we're gonna check out some of the amazing fruits that we have. Lots of it locally grown actually here in the Dominican Republic, particularly mango. It is mango season now, guys. Mango is the best in the Dominican Republic. It's for sure one of my favorite fruits I've ever tried here. Mango would be per unit, it would be 60 cents per unit for a mango, right? Beautiful, definitely has something you gotta try. And it's all fresh and again, locally grown in the DR. And now heading over this way, of course, we've got pineapple. Pineapple is 100 pesos per unit, which would be $1.5, $1.6. We've got cantaloupe. We have, what else is this? Passion fruit, of course. Passion fruit is also locally grown and it's really good as well. Per pound, passion fruit would be $3.3 here. Lemon, right? So we've got a bunch of things, and again, all very fresh produce in a supermarket that is very centric, to put it that way, because you do not have to drive all the way up to Bauro, but rather you're 5 minutes away from the Punta Cana International Airport. Guys, before we head on to the other sections of the supermarket, I also wanted to mention that here at the very entrance to the right side, we also have food that is ready to eat that you can purchase right from the supermarket right here. So essentially we have the cold dishes. We also have salads, sandwiches, also some from fresh fruit, juices from I can tell, which is amazing. And also here we have the warm dishes, the warm plates that you can get. So we have pastelón. I don't know how to translate this, but this is delicious. It's basically usually made with yuca. And then you have minced meat inside and the yuca, which is put in the oven and then roast it on top. This is delicious, and again, very affordable. I used to get this a lot from the supermarket. So a pastelon, it would be about 190 pesos. So that would be roughly, that would be $3 pretty much. And that's it. And it's delicious. It's a really good meal. And this is something I always used to get as well. I love this. There's the whole chicken that is roasted that you can get here. And they have different spicing. They have some typical Dominican spicing, and they have also the lemon one, which is delicious. And the whole chicken roasted, ready to go, warm, you can get for 439 pesos, only for $7 only. And right next to the section where we just saw the food that's ready to go, both hot and cold, here we actually have a whole large section of the bakery, right? So here you can get donuts, bread, some extra pastry, empanadas. There's so many different options you can get here, all freshly made. And on top of that, of course, on the left side, there's a whole variety of different breads that you can also get. Just for reference purposes, for a baguette of 350 grams, the one I'm looking at here, you're looking at about $1.2 roughly. So again, very affordable, great prices here in Merca Jumbo. And again, we're just starting, guys. Keep watching to learn more about everything else we have here. And guys, now we have made it to the dairy and egg section. One of this very important. I know all of you want to know what we can get here. So essentially, we have a wide range of all the kind of cheeses you can get, of course, eggs. And just to give you a couple of options, so for example, a sour cream of 8 ounces, you can get that for $2, right? So $2 for sour cream of 8 ounces. Then to keep going here, for example, cream cheese of 200 grams, we can get that for even less than that, so $1.9, right? Something like this. 200 grams cream cheese, $1.9, almost $2. And of course, there's all kinds of cheese. We have the light, blue, lactose-free as well. So that's very important as well to know that we can actually get lactose-free products in the Dominican Republic and here in Merca Jumbo as well. And yeah, so a lot of different options, whether it's for cooking or just eating in general, you can find it. And guys, let's check out how much we can get eggs for in Merca Jumbo, Dominican Republic, Punta Cana. So here we can get 30 eggs for 209 Dominican pesos, so it translates to roughly $3.3 30 eggs, right? So amazing pricing. I know in the US you have a lot of the different pricing when it comes to eggs, but this is really, really good. And of course, here to the left side, we can also see a different variety of cheeses that you can get. For example, we can get feta cheese at 8 ounces of feta cheese for $8. 8 ounces of feta cheese right here. Then we have, what is this? Yeah, so this is the Parmesan cheese from Italy. 200 grams. This comes out to 400 pesos. So that would be roughly $6 for Italian imported Parmesan cheese. And guys, now we're in the section of rice. As you can see, you can get very, very large quantities of rice here. For example, we've got 20 pounds of rice here that you can purchase, 20 pounds of white rice for 654 pesos for $10. I think this is maybe what I eat in a year, maybe even less than this. But again, amazing pricing here for 20 pounds of white rice. I mean, for $10, it's 100% worth it. And on top of that, if you thought that was big, here we actually have 50 pounds as well that you can purchase. 50 pounds of white rice is actually 2,300 pesos, which translates to $36. But look at that, it's huge, and this will definitely last a very long time in every household. And guys, in this section, we can find a variety of juices as well. We've got orange juice, we've got a cocktail of juices. We have absolutely everything here. It's all cold and fresh. And next to that, we actually have butter, a lot of butter that you can get, starting from President to all the other different types. I also wanted to mention something important. What I really love about this supermarket compared to most that I've seen essentially is that they have the prices displayed in a very large format. So for example, myself, I don't really see well in the distance, and this really helps me a lot because you can see the price immediately from afar. And they also kind of color code their products. For example, white is just a regular color, but if it's yellow, for example, that means that there's a current offer on this product. If it's red, there's an even better offer on this product. And for example, if it's blue, like we saw over there, that means that this is a new product in store. So they do have this color coding, which is really helpful. And again, a lot of good offers right now. And guys, of course, we do not only have 20 and 50 pound rice options. So there's, of course, the smaller ones here. For example, 5 pounds, you can get 10 pounds, regular sizing, right? For example, 2 pounds even you can get for $1 only. Great offers currently. And in this section on the right side, we actually have all the canned goods you can imagine. So we've got the sardines, tuna, we have the corn, sweet corn. All of that is on this section right here. For example, a tuna can would be about, a 6-ounce tuna can would be $1.2 roughly. So all of that is in this section here. And last but not least, to the left side, you actually have a variety of olive oil and oil selection that you can get. And guys, we're continuing with the supermarket tour. Now we're in section number 2, where we can actually find vegetable oils, mayo, ketchup, and a lot of different spices. And also, before we keep going, I wanted to say that this is very important in case any of the product, you cannot really see the price tag, though it's unlikely in the supermarkets because they're huge and they're properly tagged everywhere. You can just take the product and scan the barcode right here, and the price is going to appear right here, right? So in case you do want to double check and make sure, you can always use this little device and make sure you got the price right. So in this whole section, we have vegetable oils, different pricing. For example, a soy oil of 16 ounces, about $1.2. Then going down this way, we can also find coconut oil, which is also very good in this country. So for example, a 16-ounce extra virgin coconut oil would be looking at about $364. I like to do these as precise as I can for you guys. So this is going to be $5.8 for extra virgin coconut oil. And again, we have large containers as well for the oil itself too. Coming down this way, of course, we have spices and different sauces. We've got ketchup that starts at about $1, mayo about $2. And of course, we have all the imported brands as well. So it's not just the local. Of course, we also have Heinz and other ones too. So Heinz ketchup, that is the regular one, would be about $2.5 per bottle. And on this section, so across from the ketchup and mayonnaise and other sauces, so here we actually have a whole section of different kinds of pastas you can get, both local and imported, because we always have the Barilla Italian one naturally. So something like that would be about $2 for 500 grams, so the standard packets that you can get. And we also have different ones that are in a different price point. So for example, you can get that pasta here, again, same quantity, 500 grams for about $1, $1.2. And all of this are the different options you can get. Guys, continuing, we're now in section number 3 of Merca Jumbo, where we're gonna see actually their products for coffee, sugar, protein, and of course milk. So very important as well, a very important section. So here we have a variety of different coffee that you can get. Naturally, I always like to talk about Santo Domingo, which is an amazing Dominican coffee everybody here loves. A pound of that will be about 400 pesos. So that would be roughly $5. Let me check again. 400 pesos would be roughly $6 for the 1 pound Santo Domingo Cafe, and you have again a bunch of these over here. And you also have the coffee you can get for the machine. So if you have the coffee machine in the office or at home, of course you can get that. And for example, 16 of these would come out to $5, right, for 16 of those. Again, here we also have different tea sections. These you can get for about $1.2, $1.3. And more importantly, I wanted to show you guys the milk, right? So this whole, yeah, pretty much the entire aisle is milk. All of it is milk. So definitely a lot of options here. For example, regular milk, 1 liter of it would be $1 right here. But again, you have chocolate milk. You have a lot of different options. You have without cream, you have without lactose. For example, milk without lactose with 0% 0% fat. I'm reading Spanish, sorry. That would be 78, so that'd be about $1.2 for that. And again, we have different brands here. One of the most popular ones, of course, here in the country would be Rica. Rica is the number one, well, one of the most popular ones, at least in this country, for a milk dairy producer. 1 liter of Rica would be $1.2. And the one that is also very popular is Parmalat. And this one would be about $1.3. But again, all in the $1 range, more or less. Now on this side over here, we actually have sugar. So 2 pounds of sugar, regular sugar, white sugar would be $1. And brown sugar, 2 pounds of brown sugar, pretty much the same also, a couple of cents of difference. But on top of that, of course, we also have stevia, we have Splenda, which I know a lot of people are taking now instead of real sugar. So for example, the sweeteners such as Splenda would be, for 50 little packets, we would be talking about $2.4 approximately. Continuing with the next section of Merca Jumbo supermarket, we're gonna take a look at the crackers, the cookies, and flour as well, some cereal is that they have in the section number 4, right? So here, for example, we're gonna look at some crackers, chocolate filling cookies here, which we can get 500 grams for about $2 on this side. Then a lot of these are actually local brands. We have also the digestive ones as well, which is about $1.2. And on this side, we have flour, right? So just so you guys have an idea, flour, 2 pounds of flour would be 82 pesos. So that would be roughly $1.3 for a 2-pound white flour right here. We also have the corn flour as well. So corn flour, 1 kilo of that would be 118. That would be about $1.8. And then continuing down this section is we're gonna reach the cereals, right? So there's a lot of different cereal you can get. We have, for example, these with different tastes, of course. So here you have the granola, 350 grams with almonds. That would be $129, $2 for that. And of course, now arriving to the imported ones that you guys probably know. Here we have Fruity Pebbles, we have Crunch Berries, Rice Krispies. So all of that is what we also have here. Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops here would be 324 pesos for 13 pounds. So $5 for Fruit Loops here. And yeah, of course, on top of that, we also have the healthy version of the cereal, which is going to be about 300 pesos. So again, more or less the same, $4.7 for the healthy version. Continuing with section number 5, we're going to be looking at some baby food, diaper prices, of course, wipes, and of course toilet paper as one very important factor, as always. So for example, let's take a look at these over here. So if we want to get 4 rolls of toilet paper like this, we're going to be paying about $1.4 for something like that. And of course, if we go and take how many of these? These are 6. So 6 rolls. We're gonna be paying about 420 pesos. So just so I don't give you any random numbers, let's check that out. 420, we are looking at about $6 for 6 rolls. And if we go this way and we actually decide to get 12, so get the largest one by Scott, which is an imported brand, we're looking at about $5.68 or about $9 for 12 rolls of toilet paper here. Now, taking a look at some baby formula. Again, different brands. We definitely have a lot of those. Just to give an idea, by Nestle, this one of 900 grams would be 849 pesos. So about $13.5 by Nestle. And what else can we take a look at? We can look at this one, Similac 1, the baby formula, which is going to be a bit more. It's going to be about $25 for the 800 grams right here. And guys, to wrap up this section, let's take a look at all the diaper options that they have. For example, 16 diapers would be about 209 pesos, about $3 for 16 diapers here. Again, you have different sizes, of course. And coming down this way, they're all pretty much the same, about $3.3. However, if we go here and we take a look at Pampers, which of course is, I think, world famous, no, the most famous brand. There, for example, we have 32 diapers for about 1,053 pesos, about $16 for 32 diapers by Pampers. And now we're going to be checking out the section of curated meats, and also, of course, later we're going to check out the pork and beef and everything they have here. But starting with this over here, so for example, some ham, for example, half a pound of ham would be about $3.3 US, half a pound of ham. Then here we have different ones. You can also get 24 ounces of ham like that and then cut it yourself naturally. That's about 524 pesos. So that would be going for about $8 for something like that. Of course, now we have a wide range of selection of salamis, sausages that you can get. For example, you can get chorizo fresco, so something like this, fresh chorizo. 450 grams of that would be about 239 pesos. So for the grill, this is a really good option. It's only $3.8 for these kinds of sausages. We also have bacon, of course, which 8 ounces of smoked bacon would be 209 pesos. So that's $3.33. And now arriving to this section, we actually have, and you have it displayed over here. So we have the pork, beef, and chicken at the very bottom. Starting with the pork, here we have, let me see what we have here. So of course we have different cuts, right, from the pork itself. Now I'm not a huge connoisseur on pork parts, but essentially we have la chuleta over here, which would be 230 pesos. $3.6 for la chuleta of the pork right here. And guys, continuing down from the pork to the beef section. So here we can see, for example, churrasco, which is about 1.2 pounds, is about 371. So wait, I changed the currency. There you go. So that's going to be about $6 for a 1.2 pound churrasco cut. And again, you got all the kinds of different cuts here that we can get. And finally, we get to the chicken section. So here, for example, you can get any entire chicken, for example, which is going to be about 4 pounds of chicken for 325 pesos. $5 for a 4-pound chicken, like the whole thing. Or for example, you can also get chicken wings. You can get 2.2 pounds of chicken wings for 250 pesos, right? So also very good. You can get that for about $4. You can get 2.2 pounds of chicken wings. Guys, we have now arrived to section 6 and 7 of the supermarket. Essentially here we have a lot of the cosmetics stuff. Essentially we have the deodorants, we also have shampoo, shower gels, and another very important thing is that we actually do have some pharmacy products here as well, which are of course OTC, so whatever you can get OTC you can find here. For example, Tylenol, some anti-flu medicine, so all of that, Pepto-Bismol, right? So all the basics and necessities you can find here without going to an actual pharmacy. You can also find it in the supermarket. So again, deodorants. We also do have alcohol cleaning products right here, cotton balls, cotton rounds, shavers, razors, different kinds of razors, a bunch of soap. So it's very complete in general. And also something important I wanted to mention, that you can of course find the anti-mosquito spray, the insect repellent right here, which is off here. For 6 ounces of off, you'll be looking at 538 pesos. So just so you guys get an idea of how much that is. That would be $8.5 for a 6-ounce insect repellent spray. Now continuing down this way, we have a lot of different shower gels at a very good price. From what I can tell here, for less than $2, you can get about 750 milliliters of shower gel and all kinds of different smells. And continuing down this section number 6, of course, we have makeup removers, makeup wipes, toothbrushes, toothpastes. To give you guys an idea of the toothpaste, for example, Colgate, 150 milliliters, we're looking at about 300 pesos, which roughly translates to $4.7 for Colgate. But of course, we have different brands. Something that is a bit more local, more affordable, of course, that's going to be about 90 pesos only for the toothpaste. So we're looking at about $1.4, $1.5. And guys, continuing with number 8, section number 8 of the Merca Jumbo supermarket, where we can find a lot of the detergent options, all the cleaning products, chlorine, right? So all of the cleaning products in general are located in the aisle 8 of the supermarket. To begin with this over here, these are the trash can bags. Those 12 units would be about less than $1, about 70 cents roughly. Then of course we've got Lysol and all the other kinds of cleaning products. For example, an all-purpose cleaner from Lysol would be about 466 pesos, so roughly $6 approximately. So yes, $7 for Lysol. Now continuing down this area right here, we actually have the dish detergent, very important, right? So all of this here, this is the most popular local one. This is the one I always use, at least, the Axion. This one is for the 640 milliliters. We're looking at about 168 pesos, so $2.7 for that. And guys, also wanted to mention that when you're watching the video, you want to see the exact prices of a certain product you like, you can always pause the video and just do the conversion from pesos to US dollars. Remember that today in January 2026, end of January 2026, the conversion rate now is the $1 equals to about 63 Dominican pesos, just so you guys have this convenience when doing the conversion. Now continuing with this section here, we have the fabric softeners, quite a few of them, and this is the one that I would typically buy myself. This one would be about almost 2 liters of fabric softener. They smell amazing, and those would be about $4 over here. But of course we have Downy and all the other brands you're more familiar with. And continuing down over here, all of this is chlorine in different shapes and sizes, so you can get it very easily for cleaning. Let's say over here, half a gallon of chlorine would be $0.9.90. Then here we have the fabrics detergents, different sizes as well. It's actually pretty good. I like that they have 10 pounds of it, because normally in most supermarkets you actually have smaller. Here they actually have bigger ones as well. That's actually pretty good. And reaching at the very bottom of this section, of course we keep going with the cleaning products that you're most likely going to use at home. Disinfectants, those would be about $2 as well. Guys, we're almost reaching the end of the store, but we still have quite a lot to go. So we're now in aisle number 9, which is basically disposable plates, glasses. For example, if you're hosting an event of some kind and you want to have those disposable plates and glasses, well, this is the section to get it. And we also have the pet food right here. We have dog and cat food that you can get. So for example, dog food, let's say 8 pounds of dog food would be at 324 pesos, which translates roughly to about $5, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's about $5 right there. Of course, we get treats and a lot of different options, and of course, different brands. We got Purina, for example. 2 kilos of Purina would be about 567 pesos. So that would be roughly $9, right? But again, of course, different sizes and everything else. Now, in this section to the left, we actually have the disposable glasses and plates that I was just mentioning. For example, we have 15 disposable plastic plates at about $5.8. Then we have all the disposable glasses and cups. Let's say these typical ones, the foam ones, 25 units, 25 foam cups would be about $1.4. Continuing with aisle number 10 of Merca Jumbo, where I can actually find popcorn, different kinds of sweets, chocolate, tacos as well. So a lot of different products here as well. To give you guys a brief idea, so popcorn, microwave popcorn with the butter flavor, 3 units will be about $2.4. Then continuing this way, of course, we have different kinds of chips and snacks. That is something you can always find, of course, in all supermarkets here. Something I always like checking out. And on this side, we have tacos and tostadas. I love tostadas. This is delicious. I used to eat so much of this back in the day. Now I kind of control myself a bit better with it. This is really good. Corn tostadas, very crunchy and delicious. This is about 14 ounces. You're looking at about $2.7 roughly. And of course, you got different kinds of tacos. You got the soft shell, the hard shell, and all the kinds of spices. You can, of course, prepare your own tacos locally as well. Now, continuing down this section, of course, we have different kinds of chips and snacks. Here we have Doritos, we have Lay's, all of those you're familiar with, and of course, some of the local ones as well, which are actually very good. So, for example, I like very much yuca chips and plantain chips. They do at least feel healthier. I think they are for sure compared to the others. And something like this, we call them yuquitas. So yuquitas would be about $2 roughly, and they're really delicious as well. And then of course here we have a bunch of different chocolate options. We've got Kisses, Hershey's, M&M's. All of that is located there. And again, reaching out all the way to the end of this aisle, we just have more of the chips and snacks options. Another very popular purchase in this country would be tostones chips. So fried plantain chips, delicious, and those would be about $2.7. Before we head to one of the last sections of the supermarket, I wanted to mention that in this whole section, this entire wall, you can get a lot of different things as well. You can get a lot of those chorizos for the grill that we saw before, frozen here, of course. And most importantly, we can also get ice cream, and a lot of it. So, for example, for ice cream, again, depending on which one you decide to get, we are looking at about $2.5 for one of these here. And of course, if we go over here, you can also get a gallon of ice cream, right? So very, very large container. And those would turn out to be 400 Dominican pesos. So that'd be about $6 for a gallon of ice cream. And of course, here we have the more familiar ones that you guys know, for sure, Häagen-Dazs. So that one is also present in the supermarket. But we also have this one, which is locally very popular, Helado Bon. They're delicious. You should definitely try them out as well. Now continuing over here, of course, you can get some frozen seafood. We can get some of the shrimp over here. So 2 pounds of frozen shrimp, pre-cooked for sure, is about $4. exactly. And yeah, you can get that. You can get a mix of frozen seafood, calamari, all of that in this very section. And guys, at the very end of Merca Jumbo, here's where we actually have a lot of different seafood options. So all of this over here is seafood, of course, frozen products. To give you guys an idea, we have frozen salmon here, like this, and of course we have different cuts as well. So something like this will cost about 384, so that'd be about $6, and that's 1 pound of salmon. We also have, of course, different sizes, different cuts as well over there. And continuing down this way, we have different fish. Of course, we have dorado. We also have tilapia, which I believe is one of the most affordable ones. Yeah, exactly. So you have a whole, 1 pound of tilapia is going to be roughly about $5 as well. So all of that is over here in this freezer. And then to the right-hand side is where we have what I'd like to call the health food section, like the, healthier version of pretty much everything. So we have almond milk, we have oat milk, we have soy milk, right? So all of those kinds of healthier milk versions are located right here. To give you an idea of almond milk, we're looking about less than $2 for this particular one. And then of course here we're gonna have protein bars, protein drinks as well, muscle milk, which I'm sure you guys know. So a lot of those are located right here. You can have, matcha as well. You can get, what is this? Is a red mix and matcha would be about 1,000, so about $16-17 roughly. And of course we have different butters. We have the almond butter, peanut butter, the healthier ones, right? But in the other section we also have the regular different ones, different butters that you can get. And guys, we have arrived to the water section. So we're gonna take a look at all the different options that they have here. Essentially, what I can tell, what caught my eye at least immediately, that you can get a bottle of water, which is about 17 ounces for only 7 pesos. That is 10 cents. That is, I believe, the most affordable water I've ever seen in this country. That is amazing. So 7 cents, 10 cents. It's incredible. Right, so we have a lot of those you can get. Now continuing down this way, of course, different brands have different pricing as well. For example, to get one of this size, which is crystal, 5 liters of water, you're going to be looking at about $2.6 for, 5 liters. Now that would be this, that's another one, that's over there. So something like this, of this size, would be 29. Yeah, it was not, the math was not mathing, right? So something like this would be about 46 cents to get a bottle of water. And of course, continuing here where we actually have mineral water, sparkling water, my favorite. We have a lot of different options from what I can tell. San Pellegrino, which is of course one of the most popular ones. 1 liter of that one would be about $2.6. I love it. The best sparkling water for sure I've ever tried. And this one is actually a very good new one as well, Aqua Deus, and that one is 77 pesos, so more affordable, but still very, very tasty. $1.2 for this one right here. And guys, the last section of the supermarket, of course, is the alcoholic beverage one. Here we have a wide range of selections of different beers that you can get, of course, rum, wine, all of it. There's definitely a lot of it, right? So just to give you, very important as well, here you can get gluten-free beer. I know some of you have been asking me that in the comments. But right here you can see the Dora Dam gluten-free lager beer. One of those would be $3 for the gluten-free one. But of course, we also have different options that are also 0% alcohol. You can also find those over here. Now, continuing down this section is where we have as well a lot of the different beer options. Of course, Corona and Presidente, the local Dominican beer, of course, is always going to be present absolutely everywhere. So, for example, if you want to get 8 cans over here of 6 cans of 8 ounces, you're going to be looking at about $5 to get something like that. And then, of course, continuing down that way is where we have a selection of wines all over here. is where you can find that. So for example, this is a really good one. Santa Helena is a Cabernet Sauvignon. That would be roughly $12 for this bottle of wine. And of course, you have, more upscale ones as well in this particular section. And of course, guys, given we are in the Dominican Republic, we have a huge selection of amazing Dominican rum that you can get here in Merca Jumbo. Of course, as I always would recommend, Leyenda would be one of the top recommendations. From me personally, a bottle of Leyenda like this, the original one, would run you about $22. They have this special edition as well, which is a bit less sweet, but still very good. It's a bit more than that, so it's roughly $25 for a bottle of that one. And of course, you have the regular Brugal ones that you can get, all very affordable, of course, locally produced. And yeah, so this whole section pretty much is rum. And when you get to the very end of it, here's where we can find, of course, also gin. We can find tequila and vodka. Guys, before we end the tour of today's supermarket, I wanted to mention something extremely important, what I found very useful that this supermarket Merca Jumbo has. And you can see right behind me, it's a mobile app that they have where they do delivery of absolutely all products here to your home, whether you're located in Bávaro, Punta Cana Village, Cap Cana, absolutely everywhere. They bring it to you free of charge. They actually charge nothing for the delivery fees, which is amazing, right? So you really don't have to come here, even though it's very close and centric. You can basically get everything on the app and get it delivered right to your doorstep. And guys, that was it for today's tour of this beautiful supermarket, Merca Jumbo, brand new, just opened here in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. If you guys found it useful or you want to see something more like this in the future, make sure to drop that down below in the comment and I'll make sure to consider it for one of my future videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my future videos. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.